So you want to know how to spawn Do King? In this video, I will be telling you how to spawn Do King and strategies to spawn him fast, and also, he can only be spawned in the 3rd sea. So now let's begin. Alright, to spawn the Do King, you first need to have the cake's chalice, and to get the cake's chalice, you need a god's chalice and 10 conjured cocoa. You have a chance to get conjured cocoa from the Cocoa Warriors and Chocolate Bar Battlers. They're located at the Chocolate Island, and the material is pretty rare, so it might take some time if you don't have the 2x Boss Drops Game Pass. And for the god's chalice, well, there's 3 ways you can obtain it. The first method is by praying, the second method is by elite pirates, and the third method is by chests. If you didn't already know, you can pray at the haunted castle by interacting with this misc. It must be nighttime, and if you're lucky you can get a god's chalice, along with other nice rewards one chance. But that's not very practical as you can only pray once per night. So let's move on to the second method. Another way you can get God's chalice is by getting it from a chest after your server is 4 hours old. You can check the date you joined a server by pressing Shift plus F9. And if you aren't on keyboard and mouse, just type or console in chat. The first line shows the time you joined the server. So after 4 hours, you can get a God's chalice from a chest, but you won't get it first try from a chest as the chance is super low. It usually takes me about 30 minutes collecting chests to finally get it. Only one person can get it from a chest. Once you get it, you'll have to wait another 4 hours, so this method isn't recommended for public servers, as someone else can get the God's chalice before you and you can't know the server's age. The next method is elite pirate hunting, which is by far the best way to get the God's chalice. If you talk to this NPC at the sea castle, he'll tell you if the elite pirates have spawned and which island they're on. When you defeated an elite pirate, you have a 2% chance to get a God's chalice, and elite pirates spawn every 10 minutes. Those are all methods you can use to get a God's chalice. Once you get a God's chalice and have 10 conjured cocoa, go to this NPC at the Chocolate Land and he'll craft you a cake's chalice for the both of those items. Once you get a cake's chalice, you'll have to defeat 500 enemies at the Cake Island. You can check your progress by talking to the Drip Mama NPC at the Cake Land. Also, you can ask people to help defeat the 500 enemies as the enemy counter counts for the entire server. So if you're lucky, might be in a server where some people have grinded enemies at the Cake Land. So you might only need to defeat 250 enemies instead of 500. Once you've defeated the 500 enemies, interact with the NPC and he'll spawn the Do King. If you want to spawn the Do King, make sure the person who has the chalice interacts with the NPC. If someone else does this interaction and they don't have the cake's chalice, the NPC will spawn the Cake Prince boss, not the Do King. The Cake Prince is not the same as the Do King. It's weaker and doesn't give a mirror fractal or red key used to unlock Do raids. So make sure the person who does the interaction to spawn the boss is the one with the cake chalice. Now that's how you can spawn the Do King boss. Just note that this boss is hard to defeat, so make sure you have people helping. Now the strategy is super simple. Hop defeating elite pirates. Yeah, it might sound anticlimactic, but it's the best method to spawn the Do King fast. I also recommend to get 10 conjured cocoa ready beforehand 0, since you might die and just lose the chalice while grinding the cocoa. And for the 500 mobs, you can easily find people who can help you defeat them on Discord. And most servers will already have like 100 mobs defeated. That was my strategy to spawning the Do King fast. So in this video I'm going to do permanent rocket spin wheel, and before starting, shout out goes to him. Let's begin. Congratulations, Sabitrabania W8R. You've won permanent rocket fruit giveaway. All you need to do, comment me your username, and I will give permanent rocket to you for free. If you want to participate like him, make sure to hit that like button and subscribe to my channel. And don't forget to turn on notification bell icon so you never miss out any of my videos. See you in next video.